Greetings viewers and welcome to today's webinar where we will be covering the Inventory Optimization module within Sage 200 Evolution. Now, as the name implies, Inventory Optimization allows you to maintain strict control over your inventory items, ensuring that you reorder at the right time and that you update the relevant information on your inventory items regularly. This ensures that you order correctly and that you minimize situations where you have out of stock situations on various stock items. So the webinar today will cover our defaults, setting up of your reorder process templates, level update templates, the reorder processing of transactions, level update transactions, and analyzing spikes within your usage of certain inventory items. Right, let's get started. So the important thing to remember is that when you install Sage Evolution 200 Inventory Optimization, that you need to specify that you want to install the module, as it is a separate module within the application. So upon installation, simply specify you want to install Inventory Optimization. And once that has been completed, you'll notice is that within your install directory, you have a folder called IO, Inventory Optimization. And within there, you're going to have all the relevant DLL files that are required to run the application. Right. So back into Evolution, and very importantly, those defaults. So as within all modules within Evolution, we need to set up our defaults before we can start processing transactions. Right, so let's go to our defaults. And the whole basis for inventory optimization is twofold. There's an option to run a reorder process whereby automatic purchase orders are generated from your suppliers based on the requirements of particular stock items or range of stock items. So first we've got the option to set up our batches. So you are able to update a reorder level process or level update in the form of a batch. So we can specify our batch numbering sequencing there, as well as our templates. We're going to be setting up some reorder level templates and level update templates, and we can implement automatic numbering for those. We then have inventory movements, and what we have there is what 5 categories where we can categorize the movement of our inventory items. So we can specify different descriptions for those categories, for example, normal movements, average, etc. And then based on the criteria, we can specify what the usage would be based on those different categories. We can also specify roundings. So specifically for level updates, we can round up, round down, or round to the nearest point, etc. And when it comes to usage, we can specify calculate usage based on usage per day or the total usage over a certain period. And then finally, we've got the settings, which are really related to a spike. So a spike simply means is that it's an out of the ordinary usage for that item or range of items for a specific period. So for example, if you're selling ice cream and you've got a huge demand for your product within winter, that will obviously be a spike because that's out of the norm. It's an abnormal usage for that item within a specific period. So I'm going to use a 5% spike, and then on my spike color, I can just specify, highlight those particular spikes within a certain color. And then once again, I can say, do I use the daily usage, weekly usage, or monthly usage? And then view the last certain number of transactions to determine if there's a spike in the usage of the item or not. Okay, so I've got our numbering set up. I'm going to do the inventory movements when I run my actual level update. And then I've got my spike settings set up there already. Now, what's very important to understand is that inventory optimization uses certain critical information on every stock item to determine the level updates and the reorder processes. So if we go to one of our inventory items, and let's just go to that one. The important information here are these 4 areas: reorder level, reorder quantity, maximum level, minimum level. And very importantly, if you do a reorder process, that you need to have a linked supplier on your inventory item. So what I'm going to be doing now is I've got my item set up, and I'm simply going to include or add the relevant information here for me to make full use of inventory optimization. So what I'm going to say now is that my reorder level is going to be 10, reorder quantity 19, minimum level is 4, and the maximum is going to be 50. And I'm going to go specify a supplier. So it simply means is that in this case, the preferred supplier that I order these goods from is over there. And importantly is that it tells me that when the units or when the quantity reaches 10, I need to reorder this item. When I reorder, I need to reorder 19. The greatest amount I can have is 15, and the minimum level I can have is 4. So this information is absolutely vital in order for me to make use of inventory optimization. Right, that's been set up correctly, no problem there. Now I need to go and do a few transactions. Reorder process. So GRV, there we go, and I'm going to make use of first of the month. Bring in 16 units. Right, we've got the stock in the system. And now let's just go do a couple of invoices. Okay, there we go. $16 on hand. Let's just sell 4 of those. And we'll just continue processing a further invoice. Right, process that. So currently, if we go and check on the quantities of that item, we now have 2 on hand. We purchased 16, we sold 4, sold 7, and sold 3. So currently now we have 2 on hand. And based on our item information, we now need to order simply because the quantity currently is below the reorder level. And we don't want to have a situation we don't have available stock of that item. So, inventory optimization. And the basis for inventory optimization is We're going to reorder items that need to be reordered. And secondly, we're going to update the levels of certain items based on the usage within a certain period. So let's go to our templates. And we're now going to go create templates for our reorder process. Just go add a new template. Using my template number there. Okay. And you're simply saying it's going to be a reorder process template. Continue. Once again, here I can specify a range of items or a specific item to be included. So I'm just going to use, there's my item. I can certainly make use of BOM master items if I need to. So if I want to order those, I can specify a different bill of material, and I can either include or ignore the component items on those bills. Now, very importantly, I can specify a filter for what criteria must be used on the inventory item itself. So I can say no filter in particular, or I can set items which are below the minimum level. And as you can see, as I select that particular filter, it tells me exactly how that calculation is being done. So I can say items below reorder level, and if need be, I can specify my own custom filter there with the relevant information or the relevant calculation. So I'm going to make use of items below minimum level, and I can specify a range of suppliers that I can order from. And very importantly, I need to specify the period that I'm looking at with regards to my template. So I'm going to make use of the first of the month until the end of the month. So in order for me to determine my reorder process, look at the dates between these two periods, or the usage between these two periods. Now, what I can do is you could have situations whereby, for example, customers have ordered the item from you. However, you cannot complete the order simply because you don't have sufficient stock. So in this case, I can say include the sales orders, okay, which are either unprocessed or partially processed with regards to my calculation. And I can obviously have a range of orders there if I need to. In this case, there are no orders, so I'm saying skip the sales orders. And when it comes to the purchase order quantity formula, I can specify different criteria. So I can say the minimum level, reorder quantity, etc. And as you can see, it tells me exactly what the formula is going to be if I select the minimum level, etc. Same goes for reorder quantity, etc. Okay. Also, there could be instances where I've got additional purchase orders which I've ordered from the customer or the supplier. However, they haven't yet been delivered, so I can either include those in my calculation or not. Right, so I'm going to say minimum level, and I can then say I can simply specify what the order description is going to be in order for me to, when I do my reordering. I could use something like maybe a template reference number, etc. And so know exactly that these orders were processed based on my inventory optimization, etc. Right, next. Congratulations, you've completed your reorder level process. Right, so there's my template. And now what I'm going to be doing is I'm simply going to go and process this template. So if I go to my inventory optimization transactions, you'll see that there's a reorder process level update. So I'm going to go to my reorder process. And you notice is that I can also, if I have, for example, multiple templates to process, I can process them as a batch, so I can have them display there, save them as a batch, and then at a later stage go process the batch simultaneously. What I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to go find my template. So therefore, it's displaying only the reorder level template that I set up previously. And open that. Right. So it tells me that within the period, that's the quantity that was used. That is my daily usage. And these are details that are currently on hand, in stock, available, etc. And I've got the relevant details on those items. Right, let's just check what happens now. Let's just go say if we go and look at a spike of the item. Let's just go and analyze that spike. Okay. So there you go. It tells me that it's found a specific instance where the normal usage has been exceeded. So therefore, this is a spike. And I can obviously go and investigate why there's been an abnormal usage of the item for that specific date period. Okay. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be generating POs for these items simply because I need to, because they're now lower than the minimum level. Just go process, and it tells me that these are the orders that are going to be generated. So as you can see, my supplier, which comes from the item linked to the order, my supplier linked to the stock item. There's my PO number and my description, which I set up on my template. And it now tells me that this is the item and this is the quantity that's going to be ordered at that particular price. And there's my order total. So now I'm just going to say place the orders and close. Place those orders, and if I revert to order entry, I'm going to go have a look at which orders are currently unprocessed, and I'm going to find that order there. Just go back into unprocessed orders, and there's my order with my description, unprocessed GRV. Let's just open that quickly. Right, so there's my order waiting to be processed. Now, the important thing to understand is that the quantity to be ordered. Let's just check exactly how that quantity is calculated. So I'm just going to go open up the item. And from there, we can see that initially we've said that when the stock quantity reaches 10, I need to order. Currently, at that point, the stock quantity was 2. When ordering, I need to order 19. The lowest amount I can have is 4, and the highest amount I can have is 15. So why is the quantity now 21? The reason being is that if you look, I need to order 19 when I need to order. However, the minimum level is 4. Currently, at that point in time, I had 2 on hand. So therefore, the system needs to order an additional 2 units so that I can maintain my minimum level. So initially, I should have been ordered 19. However, I need to order an additional 2 units in order to make up my minimum level. Okay, and there we go. 21 units to be ordered. There's the price. There's my supply information. And I can simply say this order, and then when the goods arrive, process the normal GRV and complete the invoice for the supplier. Right, simple as that. Just say close, and I'm going to save it. And I'll simply wait for the goods to arrive from my supplier and complete the process. So that's the whole process of a reorder information. So as you can see, very important that the minimum level, reorder level, and quantities are set up correctly in order for you to get accurate information and which items need to be ordered and the quantity to be ordered. Now let's just move on to the second level, which is really the level updates. So I'm going to go back to my inventory optimization templates, and let's just go add a new one. Now we're going to do level update. Continue. Once again, I can use my inventory or my range of items. Just do that. Same screen as before, I can specify a bill item if I need to. And once again, we can have our inventory item filter. So I'm going to use items below the minimum level again. And I'm going to use the same time frame as my reorder template. Okay, there we go. And now this is very important, okay, because now I need to specify how do I determine what the average usage was per day, or what the new levels are going to be based on my average usage. I'm going to say between 1 and 19 units, I'm considered slow, between 20 and say, for example, 39 units, and then between 40 units, let's just say, for example, 79. Okay, so now I'm simply going to say, if it's between those two units, or between 0 and 19, I must now change reorder value to say 25, reorder quantity to 30, new min level is going to be 10, and the new maximum level is going to be 35. So it's simply saying is that based on the average usage per day, if the quantities are between those two values, update that information. Okay. So remember is that on the item, initially the reorder level was 10. It's now gone on to 25. The reorder quantity was 19. It's now gone to 30. The minimum level was 4. It's now been adjusted to 10. And the new maximum level was 50. It's now going to be 35. So very importantly, once again, that these figures are accurate in order for you to get or update those levels correctly. Okay, next. And congratulations, you've completed your level update template. Right. So there's my template. And let's just go have a look at a couple of things before we continue. Inventory items, there's my item. I currently have got 2 units on hand. And if I go to my information, there are my details, which I initially set up when the item was created. Right, back to inventory optimization, transactions. And this time we're going to go run a level update. Right, level update. And I'm now going to go find my template. So there's my template. Okay. Analyze the spike. Right, it tells me that once again a spike was found due to the fact that the usage within the period was above the norm. Okay. Now, very importantly here, it once again tells me the usage per day, quantity on hand. And notice here is that it tells me what the old reorder level was, what the new one's going to be updated to. Same thing applies for the quantities, etc. So the great thing is here is you can see exactly what the update is going to be before you go process the transaction. Okay. Now, in order for us to determine or decide or how the calculation is done, the very important feature here is usage per day. So what the system has done is it said there was 14 units of usage, or 14 units were used within the period. And we're simply saying is that 14 units divided by 30 days, which was the period that I've specified my usage to be, is going to be 0.46, rounded out to 0.48. And that's where I've got my usage per day from. Okay. So now let's just check at the calculation. And remember is that we said our reorder level was 10 initially. It's now going to be 12. Remember we said on our setup that the new level is going to be 25. So 25 multiplied, just cancel that, 25 multiplied by our usage per day. There we go. So it's now going to be 12, reorder level. Initially, our reorder quantity was 19. However, we said it was going to be 30. So it's 30 multiplied by 0.48, 1440. And just move across there. Just go check the minimum levels. Remember, it was initially 4. However, we said it's going to be 10. So it's 0.48 times 10. New level is going to be 4.80. And maximum level was initially 15. We then said change that to 35. 35 multiplied by my average usage per day, 0.48, 16.80. Right. So there's my details, and I can see immediately from this list exactly what these levels are going to be updated to. Right, so I'm okay with that. Select that particular template or that option, process the batch. Remember here is that if you have multiple options here, you can save it as a batch and then come in a later stage and open the batch and update those simultaneously without having to do it one at a time. So process that option, update it successfully. And now let's just go look at our stock item. And as you can see, our new levels have now been updated. So as you can see, this process allows us to go and update our levels and generate purchase orders automatically based on the usage of an item within a specific period. So it really allows us to control our stock holding, ensure that we have enough stock available to meet our customer demand, and also we order the stock items in time so we don't have situations where we run out of stock. So just a quick recap. Very importantly is that that information over there must be set up and must be correct, and also set up your linked supplier for that specific item. Just regards to inventory optimization and the defaults, we'll set up our numbering, inventory movement specifically for your level updates to ensure that you get the right consistency and you are going to be updating your new levels correctly based on your average usage per day or the total usage over a specific period. And obviously I can round that up if I need to, round down or round the nearest unit. Once we've done that, we have our templates. It It's either going to be an update template or a reorder process template. And once again, I can always go edit an existing template if I need to and change that based on the changing needs or the usages of the item. Right, so once again, specify a range of items, specify different filters based on the item itself. I supply a range, and very importantly, I need to specify usage period in order for the calculation to determine what the usage was during the particular period. I can include or exclude the sales orders. So obviously, yes, it could be situations whereby you have sales orders which have been placed by customers. However, the goods can't be delivered simply because you have insufficient stock on hand. So I can either include them or exclude them. And also regarding our purchase order quantity formula, I can include the POs in that particular selection or not. And completed. And then if I just go to my level updates, once again, very similar. However, the important thing here is I need to specify my different categories and the quantities which are going to determine how the levels are going to be updated. And once again, usage per day or over a specific period. Once that's done, I'm going to go to my transactions and then either decide to update either a reorder process, linking it to a template, or else I can go to level update and link that to a specific template and update those levels. The great thing there is that I can see exactly what the level updates are going to be, and before I process the actual transaction, update my stock items. So as you can see, a very useful module that allows me to manage my stock very efficiently, ensuring that I order the right quantities when I need to, and that I have sufficient stock on hand to meet the customer demands. I do hope this webinar has been useful. Thank you once again for watching. It's over and out from me. Goodbye.